X-Men. It has honestly kicked ass. It's Mike Carey writing it, who is known for a lot of the better Constantine Hellblazer stuff, and he treats them as they have been treated lately in the last couple of months as this kick-ass paramilitary group, and they really are. They are the underdogs, but they are okay. Here's what we're up against. Here's the war room. Here's what we have to do. And Cyclops is just laying it down.
We had a discussion a couple of leagues ago of like Scott Summers. Isn't he kind of a pussy?
No.
Yeah. Read this, and you're like, oh Jesus. Yeah. I mean, he goes in and like the Skrull priest starts like singing up this bullshit, and he's just like, and then when the guy gets to the end, he just like. Optic blasts his ass into the back of the thing. It's just like, all right, pick him up. All you guys get this shit together. We're stealing this ship. Let's go.
Cyclops has turned into the Patton of the Marvel Universe, which is what he should have been all along.
Oh, yeah. Right. No, there is an odd thing going on with Secret Invasion, which is that a lot of the side story stuff is focusing on the metaphysical, and yet none of that really crosses back over into the major story. They don't even mention any of the stuff going on in the Incredible Hercules, where there's like the God Squad, which is literally what they call themselves, of gods from all these different pantheons that are traveling through space-time in the dream world to, I don't even know what the hell they're doing.
There's no way of knowing where that falls into the spectrum of real time in the Secret Invasion.
It feels awkward with everything else because it just doesn't feel like it belongs in
I disagree. I had a blast at it. But of course, I'm a big I used to love Alpha Flight, and seeing Snowbird again, I was like,
"Oh, you're that guy."
No, I actually was. I was Alpha Flight fan too.
You know, there's some really good stuff in it, and I really like the Mighty Hercules series. Has been doing good stuff.
I heard it was really good. Fred Van Lent.
Yes, and it's very funny.
It's what they replaced the Incredible Hulk with. It literally changed the Incredible Hulk to the Incredible Hercules,
which confuses the hell out of me. But
I wonder if they've got some grand plan there. I don't know what's
core title. Secret Invasion.
Well,
I have to say that it was pretty badass to see Thor finally, which I expected him to do in Civil War, Thor show up and say, "Yeah, bitches, I'm back. Get the shit off my planet right now.
Yeah, I'm done. You know? Guess what? God of Asgard."
Yeah. Well, and
exactly. And I was just like, "Oh, yes."
And speaking of ass kickers, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the Red Hulk or the Green Hulk or all this bullshit.
So tired of that.
But the Hulk has not shown up yet.
Exactly.
You think he would have at some point.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, in these last two issues, in the last, 2 months, as we lead up to the finale, I'm just what I really, really want to see is an intelligent Bruce Banner back again, leaps down in the fucking middle of New York and says, "Okay, guys, all of you with the spiny chins, you have to leave now."
Yeah. I want to see. I will
show you the door happily.
I want to see a moment where Reed says, "We need to go get Bruce."
Yeah, no, right. With the ultimate answer, where they go, "Look, the most powerful guy in the entire fucking world is right over there. Just nobody's called him yet."
And they kind of, they almost kind of in Miss Marvel 30. They kind of address that. She's fighting this great big fucking Super Skrull, and that's one of the plot points is that they've evolved this new race of Super Skrulls that almost all of them have at least 4 analog powers.
At least,
and it can be, at least, and they can switch. But she fights a guy who basically has all of the powers, and they have driven him insane.
Yeah.
And there's at one point that she says he's rage personified. And I'm just like,
is he Yosemite Sam?
Hulk.
Yeah. Well, is he Yosemite Sam?
Yeah, when I think of rage personified, I think Yosemite Sam.
Is that really that's what you draw on?
Yeah, because he's always like, "Ooh, I hate rabbits.
I hate
and niggers and Jews, but I really hate rabbits the most.
And Skrulls."
Oh my God!
I was going to suggest
you made Yosemite Sam into an anti-Semite.
How is
you made him into anti-Semite Sam?
Dude,
you bastard!
Yosemite Sam is a total redneck.
I was going to suggest you discuss this with your therapist, but now I insist.
There's no way,
dude. All I have to say is, I came up with anti-Semite Sam. Isn't that fucking awesome? Daps, hello.
That is.
Show me a little.
That is.
Give me some.
No. I give it to you. I give it to
Even
you.
co-host
That was
laughs.
a good one, dude. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna leave.
But you know, Yosemite Sam is a total redneck, just like Pepe Le Pew is a date rapist.
But the thing I'm most proud of Secret Invasion is the opportunities it doesn't take to be cheap. Like I was saying earlier, there was their opportunity to say, "Hey, Captain America's not really dead," and they fucked with you for half an issue, and then said, "No, of course he's dead. We showed you he died. He's actually dead."
But it's also an opportunity to fix Spider-Man, and they haven't done that.
Yeah. And at this point, I'll take any cheap way out.
Me too.
I'll take whatever they
Hey,
can do.
the way what they took was so cheap. I'll take another cheap way to get out of it.
Because Quesada is still. He's Carlisling. He's just anything he can think of to rationalize his terrible decision. He's coming up and throwing out there.
You want to hear something funny? This you guys will crack up and maybe vomit at the same time. Joe Quesada was recently asked, "Hey, if you were to step down as editor-in-chief, who would you pick to be editor-in-chief of Marvel?" You know what he said?
Who?
Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. I kid you not.
So who's the worst possible answer you could give?
Right.
Yeah. Where's Chuck Barris when you need him? Gone.
Yeah.
I didn't talk before, but Illuminati, what kicked this off, was what I was also very much into.
I dig Illuminati.
I loved Illuminati.
I did too.
I wish they would bring that back.
There's a really neat point about 3/4 of the way through what they have right now in Secret Invasion, where it looks like it's flashing back to Illuminati, and it's like, oh, cool. Here's a secret we haven't seen this before, Illuminati movement, and then all of a sudden, like, all these guys just get slaughtered because one of them's a Skrull, and you're like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And it's just a Skrull testing example. But I was like, that's the kind of shit they throw at you constantly through the series. It's awesome.
And for all of that, basically, the reason that I like this, the reason that I'm following it is they're really going back over the last 5 years and like taking some stuff and sewing it the fuck up. They're going the roundabout way, but the Secret Invasion is the Crisis on Infinite Earth for Marvel in a lot of ways. They're sewing up their titles.
You shut your mouth.
And that's what's funny is like in other ways they're fucking it up because it's like, hey, let's bring the New Warriors back.
Exactly.
We're like, what the hell is that?
You know, exactly. And I don't want to see that. Although they're bringing back Guardians of the Galaxy, and that series is looking really cool.
Yeah, apparently I haven't read a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it really tailgates on a lot of Annihilation Conquest.
Yeah, they do that,
really
and
good.
they bring back something. They bring back fucking Star-Lord. They bring back Rocket Raccoon.
It's a way to link a lot of these things
they're
together.
linking. Yeah.
So you know what? We're just gonna keep watching and see what happens.
I think the culmination of this is gonna end up with a better, tighter Marvel universe.
We hope.
Hopefully, and I am all fucking for that.
For those of you who are really trying to get into like Guardians of the Galaxy and Nova, go back and read the first couple of trades of Annihilation. Seriously, they are damn good.
Actually,
really good.
Do that, and while you're doing that, Google this name, Jim Starlin.
Jim Starlin.
And read anything that he has done, because he has run on Captain Marvel, Adam Warlock, just about
Silver Surfer. He's the
Silver
master of
Surfer.
the cosmic universe.
He is the Marvel cosmic
And just
guy.
for the
He's
hell
awesome.
of it, read some Rom the Space Knight, for God's sake.
Or
Oh
don't.
no!
What? No, where we have
I
next?
agree. You're right.
Yeah,
The thing is that Rom the Space Knight did actually, the stuff in that universe, his villains positively affected the rest of the Marvel universe. The Dire Wraith stuff that crossed over to the rest of the Marvel universe, awesome. That stuff
Okay.
was great.
Fine.
Rom the Space Knight, the comic itself, that was dumb.
What?
But- Sorry, it was.
Okay, sure.
The first
I'm
20
sorry.
issues are very good.
Read Rom the Space Knight, and while you're at it, read Micronauts as well. And Shogun Warriors too.
versus the X-Men.
Okay.
Base break. Because Leon goes to the comic book store every Wednesday, and so does Jason, to pick up the new issues.
Yes.
What a bunch of fags.
We have nothing. We're fags with disposable income.
It must be nice.
Yes. I'd gone to the comic shop last Wednesday. Now, you're hearing this on this Wednesday. We'll talk about the comics coming out this Wednesday. But for last Wednesday, when you go to the comic shop, I would suggest picking up Action Comics number 870. It's the finale of the Brainiac story arc that's going on in Action Comics, which features the Jeff Johns. Who Jeff Johns is like the greatest Superman and Green Lantern writer ever.
Right on.
And you got Gary Frank, who's maybe one of the best Superman artists of all time. These guys have brought back. We talked about this before. How they brought back all these characters from the 70s.
Well, like 2 Leogs ago.
Yes. And Gary Frank is so great as drawing Superman's looking like Christopher Reeve in a way that, like, wow, you notice it, you appreciate it, but it totally works within the story. So he's bringing together the finale of this story arc, which I've got advanced word is going to turn into the bottle city of Kandor. After, 80 years of being a bottle city, is going to be freed, and now suddenly all these superpowered Kryptonians are going to be on Earth.
Oh.
And what happens when a lot of Kryptonians get to Earth and decide, like, wait a minute, we're here with all these people who don't have superpowers?
It's going to be, no, seriously, this time we mean it, Final Crisis.
Yes. Exactly.
Kryptonian Crisis. We're calling this one Crises.
Now, a couple of other books I would also recommend picking up are 2 by Mark Millar. One being 1985, which we've recommended from the beginning.
Beau, do you remember what episode that was we talked about 1985 in?
Oh, God. That was about 5 episodes back. So, Leog 9 or 10.
Okay. Yeah, and this is a limited series, so jump in at the beginning. Don't dive into the middle of this.
Yes, but if you have a good comic shop in your town, you can probably get all. This is issue 5 that just came out this week, and there's only 6 issues to the whole series, so you can pick them up. Now, another Mark Millar title that I picked up is Fantastic Four, which Jason had told me repeatedly not to buy because it was shit. However, I've been finding like these last 3 issues have been very, very good.
Yeah, I read the first 3, and they really, really pissed me off. But,
okay, well, now we have where, like, in the beginning of this whole Mark Millar story arc, our ex-girlfriend, Reed Richards, has, like, either created or discovered this little Earth that parallels our own little Earth.
Created.
Yeah, or created where she can tell what's going to happen in the future. Well, a Bruce Banner from the future, a Hulk, a smart Hulk from the future, who combs his hair back with gel, has looked at it and go like, wow, this Earth is so going to die unless we do something radical, like go back to the past. But where can we get a power source? And so they've kidnapped and hijacked Galactus to steal his power.
Really?
Yes.
So this is like a road trip abduction film with Galactus?
Well, basically, they kidnap Dr. Doom and Johnny Storm.
Does
to say,
Galactus end up falling in love with one of them?
He's comatose.
Yes, Dr. Doom.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away from it, but I can say like the last 3 issues leading up to this one have been actually pretty good.
Okay.
That actually sounds pretty compelling.
It does sound pretty
Yes.
compelling.
Yes.
I'm compelled.
I bought Justice League just because I've been buying Justice League. I'm not going to put a big recommendation behind
You
it.
can't help yourself.
Right. Invincible Iron Man. One of the titles that have come out post the Iron Man movie. Invincible Iron Man and Iron Man Viva Las Vegas came out at the same time, written by Jon Favreau.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be the title that picks up from the Iron Man movie.
But it doesn't really.
It sort of does because the artist Adi Granov did a lot of pre-production work on the Iron Man movie.
Well, he's the one who they designed the suit from the movie after his look.
Exactly. But they've been very slow to get that book out.
Okay.
And when you read it, you don't get much story for each issue. Now, Invincible Iron Man is with Obadiah Stane's kid taking on Tony Stark.
Ezekiel Stain.
Ezekiel Stane.
So
yeah.
there's-
Very much
the
a
father.
biblical name, first name thing going on. This has actually been a very good. I didn't think this would be the book I would follow, and it has been. It's actually been very good.
Okay.
And this book, issue 6, has been like the finale of the story.
I mean,
The
honestly,
finale
outside
the
of the Avengers, I was never really interested in Iron Man until for obvious reasons recently. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to know what
I
to
hadn't
read.
been a fan of Iron Man for a long time, but I can say that Invincible Iron Man and Iron Man Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. are 2 books that I read every month and
Okay.
I enjoy.
Okay.
And then issue 8 of the 12.
Oh yeah, no. See, I'm so far behind.
J. Michael Straczynski's book, The 12, which is sort of his Watchmen. Granted, it's not as dense or as intellectual as The Watchmen, but it's still a very good comic.
Okay.
And for anybody who doesn't read comics, who's like, who's Straczynski? Well, he created Babylon 5, and he wrote the new Clint Eastwood and Angelina Jolie movie, The Changeling.
Yeah, or I think it's just Changeling now.
Changeling,
actually.
okay.
It is just Changeling.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
No, I think he's I wouldn't go so far as to say a genius, but one of those really fascinating
I
guys
think he's one of the
working
best
today.
Spider-Man writers ever.
Just the fact that he wrote a 5-year-long television series that all got produced, and he actually did the storyline in 5 years and didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, absolutely true. Even though the last year was like but I already finished the story. What do you mean I get another season?
Right. Right. They have finally, after so many decades, done a comic of Ender's Game.
Really? No,
Yes.
wait, a continuation or just
No. It's comicalizing the novel.
It's called Homo No Mo. It's awesome.
I know.
Ender's gay.
We spent a great deal of time, roasting Orson Scott Card on a spit. However,
But no, it is a great novel.
we do all love Ender's Game.
Yeah, it's
the
great.
novel.
I even liked the sequels. I thought they were fun too.
Well, you know what? Here's the comic version. Like, for years, people have wanted to do a comic book or a movie version of it, and it said it couldn't be done. But I picked up the first issue of the comic, and read it. It really reminds me of the novel very well.
But the movie is the first book is so cinematical. Anyway, I'm really shocked that someone hasn't just turned it.
So
into
am
a
I.
movie. It would
Yeah,
be
exactly.
An easy
It's not like
transfer.
it's fucking like the 3 stigmata of Palmer Eldridge.
No,
or
it's
something
not.
like that.
It actually feels as you're
it's
reading it.
very very easy.
As you're reading it, it feels like as he was writing it was like this is going to be a movie.
Oh yeah, well, unfortunately, that's the way, and that is the flaw. But that is the way that most science fiction writers write today.
Yeah, no, that's true. Even though that was written in the early '80s, maybe. Even
yeah,
earlier?
roughly.
Yeah, okay. Now, Jason, you had some books.
I'm just going to bring up two right now, and naturally they're really both horror oriented. But the first, big surprise,
What a
right?
shocker.
I
Yes.
know.
Just wait till the
My
the
God,
horror
what scared
episode.
you when you were a kid?
I know. Yeah, wait till 2 weeks from now, folks, and then Jason is given free reign, and the dead shall walk the earth.
I will not be there, by the way.
No, the one of them is Dead of Night, Devil Slayer 2, and it's set during. I know, right?
Oh, come on! Don't be like that. You don't know, though.
It was just a full title.
I know. It sounds like
But
something from
they've
1997.
Had they've had like 5 or 6 Demon Slayer
Yeah.
series, and is this DC?
No, this is Marvel. Well, this is actually an officer in the Army or Marines returning back to Baghdad for his 4th tour of duty or something like that. And then he discovers that the contractors, basically the Blackwater equivalent, the contractors are up to something nefarious, to say the least. And he ends up fighting demons. So it's a soldier in Iraq ending up fighting demons there in Baghdad.
Oh, just like in the real Iraq.
I was gonna say.
Right, yeah.
And they
It's-
haven't even gotten off the boat yet.
Yeah, so far they're only 2
You
issues
bring
in.
this up. Is it any good?
So far, yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
actually really is. I mean, it really plays up on the whole misery that's there and the plight that the soldiers are in. And then they add the element of, wow, there's something more fucked up than the reality of it all. Necronomicon,
Oh wait, who's
Number
putting this
2.
Out? Who's putting this out?
Boom Studios, yes. Boom is really embracing the whole Lovecraft thing. They've got 3, 4 different titles.
Yeah,
they're Lovecraft oriented.
Bought into that license.
Yeah,
God.
which
But they
you know what?
they all concentrate on ooh, it's a scary tentacled monster
Oh,
coming
you
out
don't
here.
even read
No.
it. How do you
No, I don't.
No,
I'm making a point. I'm saying,
Yeah.
the comic books that have gone in the past,
Right.
they've all concentrated on
Yeah.
oh, here comes Cthulhu and a bunch of old ones.
Lots of people have fucked up
And,
Cthulhu.
and
Hey, I'm
the,
sorry.
The cool thing about Lovecraft is that, he never ever wrote a story that
that
really,
didn't hate on people that weren't white.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
true
okay.
enough.
There
But-
is that.
Yes,
Wow.
he's
I
an
was-
anti-Semitic little motherfucker. But
Anti-everything.
he never really brought in the monsters. They were always alluded to. It was always a guy just talking about them.
Sort of. It depends on what you read.
Yeah,
you read the,
yeah.
You read the In the Mountains of Madness or Dream Quest of Unknown God. That's by
They're
all
giant
means the monster.
albino
In the Mountains of
penguins.
Madness, I mean, it's still they're exploring this thing in Antarctica, and they're like, "Ooh, look, we found a fossil of an old one." Ooh.
Yeah, for all you guys who are into Lovecraft, I'm like, look, just eat some calamari and get over it.
So, Necronomicon #2 came out this week, if I'm not mistaken.
In other words,
And
Leon, shut up.
If any book should be anthologized in Reader's Digest,
Actually,
it
that
is
was-
the Necronomicon.
Let's just get to Jason's Necronomicon #2.
It actually it's period. It's set in the 20s when it was all written. It's very cool, and it's got that feeling of dread and that whole academia unleashing something that they shouldn't.
Miskatonic University.
It's all set in Miskatonic University. It's very cool, and the art is very fitting. It's all kind of muddy, and it's if you like Lovecraft, tap into Necronomicon, and Boom Studios is releasing all sorts of Lovecraft-oriented stuff.
I've been wanting
so.
to give mad props out to Boom Studios anyway. I mean, I know
God.
you guys know them and like them anyway. Is like actually,
Yeah.
Leon, you actually know some of those guys.
Yeah.
Aside from the
I've
big
worked with
two,
them.
Boom
Yeah.
is my favorite.
No, Boom is like, I was like dismissing them, and I checked out some of their stuff, and you're right, it's great stuff. By all means, you guys should be seeking out and trying to find Boom Studios books, even if you don't like Lovecraft.
And I would highly recommend Hero Squared.
Okay,
Really?
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, Boom puts out some really good stuff, and Mark Wade is the EIC right
Yes,
now?
yes. Mark Wade has taken over as editor-in-chief, and the effects of that have yet to be felt. But he's going to be like writing a bunch of books in the Pixar license.
That I read about that.
Yes,
he's- The Incredibles is being
exactly.
continued
It's
from
like
Boom.
it's like, hey, if somebody's going to write an Incredibles comic, who but the guy who wrote some of the better Fantastic Four books?
Well, that's
And
Jim
Flash.
Ratnick.
Right.
And
Oh yeah,
Flash.
he totally revolutionized the Flash.
Because
Yeah.
the Incredibles is the Fantastic Four movie that
Yes,
you wanted.
done
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Grant, go get me a Coke and whiskey, please.
Oh.
Por favor.
The League of Support Heroes pulls their support right out.
Look at Moses. Get up from your chair and let him speak.
Thank you, Grant.
I need to go watch him. make
Grant
that,
just
by the
referenced
way.
Moses as the point the Matrix was taken from.
Moses?
Yes.
Actually, all the Matrix is, like, if you take all three movies in whole, it's Gnosticism for beginners.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like okay, well,
It's like,
the Moses story had already
what
happened.
is causality
too, let's
and what
face
do I
it.
play in this? Bloody, bloody,
Moses
blah.
wasn't the
Who
first
cares?
version of that tale,
True. We could go all the way back to Horus from Egyptian mythology.
or even further. I'm sure if we had the stuff in front of us,
Or we could go on to a new question.
or
which
we
is
could go
probably
into
what
a
we
question
should do.
that's not going to lose half our audience. So,
There is that.
Jason had a bit of a reaction towards this question that I didn't think was called for, because I think this was a different take and a valid take on the Spider-Man issue we haven't dealt with before, and something I wanted to answer. Well, Champ0215 asks, all of you go back to December 2007 when One More Day was wrapping up. Stop before Peter makes a decision and give me your scenario of how you guys would have wanted it to play out. Please, you guys, give me a good way to think how Spidey would have actually dealt with the situation that was going on. All right, the problem isn't what does he say to Mephisto. The problem is, how does he resolve Aunt May is lying dying? Everyone knows who he is. The government wants to arrest him. Everything's falling down in front of him, around him. How do you solve that?
I don't solve it. Aunt May dies.
No. Okay.
Maybe Peter Parker gets captured. I doubt it would fucking happen. And here's why. Because this is something that has really fallen to the wayside in the Marvel Universe. But Spider-Man? Spider-Man's one of the most powerful fucking people in the Marvel Universe. He can kick fucking ass. He's kicked the X-Men's ass, all of them total.
At once.
Whole,
Yeah.
At once in Secret Wars.
Which,
He's
my
got
God,
the
was the greatest moment
Oh, yeah.
of this
Now,
12-year-old's life.
Nightcrawler sneaks up on him and says, I'm the most agile. I'll get him. And he just webs him the fuck up and says, not on your best fucking day.
Yeah.
Not on your best fucking day, Nightcrawler. And that is the way that he would approach it. It's just like, yeah, okay, maybe Aunt May would die. And maybe he would be pursued by government authorities. But he would accept that because he is a responsible human being. And to say that he isn't betrays everything that makes Peter Parker Peter Parker. He would never, ever, ever, even to save Aunt May's life, make a deal with the devil. And while we're talking about that, here's the basic flaw. Why is Mephisto making a fucking deal like this?
You know,
I've kept this married couple from being a married couple for so long. Oh, my evil plan has worked.
I mean, why don't you guys go work for TMZ?
I
for
really-
Christ's sake, for
Exactly.
real?
It's just like, dude, are you serious?
I really think that at some point during One More Day, Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider should have pulled up and said, "Hey,
dude, hop on. We're out of here."
It said, "This shit doesn't work out so well. Just so you know."
As I see it, the identity's out there, and you know what? That was a big mistake. However, Daredevil has, for the last 2 years, dealt with the fact that his identity has been out there.
Good point.
And he's just kind of like tried to fudge it as much as possible to where some people believe it and some people don't. Okay, now the whole thing with bringing Mephisto in with the whole Brand New Day, I was with it as much as like, hey, if this is like a small mini-series that's like a 6-issue thing, sure. I can see him like in his desperation of my identity's out there, my Aunt May is dying, Mephisto has approached me, I just want to make this go away. Yes.
Almost a fantasy. Like, here's what I'll let you see what could happen.
Yes.
if you did this.
Sort of like what's the
There's a great little movie made by Frank Capra called A Wonderful
yeah,
Life.
Wonderful Life, like It's a Wonderful
But
Life.
instead
thing.
of Clarence, it's fucking Mephisto.
Right, and I can see
And
him
when a bell rings, J. Jonah Jameson gets his wings.
It's a slightly less fucked up life.
Yes, I can see him doing like It's a Wonderful Life thing, getting to live through Mephisto. But at the same time, like everybody forgets, like the thing I kept thinking about is like Peter Parker is like really good friends with Doctor Strange.
Yes.
And Doctor Strange has power over Mephisto, he would step in at some point. I can see Doctor Strange stepping in at some point saying, Peter, I know you've enjoyed this, but this can't stand, and you know it. And he would go like, you know what, Doc, you're right. It was good to enjoy this, but I have to let Aunt May go. Yes, Aunt May would have to die, and Doctor Strange might say like, look, the best I can do is make everybody forget they know your secret identity.
Yeah.
But Aunt May has to die.
Yeah, no, that would have been the way to. I agree with you. That would
Although
have been the way to
they
do it.
did kind of already do that with House of M, to let him imagine a life where his identity was known and he was married to Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, but fuck House of M. I don't count that at all.
Hey, excuse me.
That's making things way more complicated than they should have been.
Now, Jason,
Honestly, there was a solution, and I don't remember exactly what it was in, but Dan Slott wrote it. It was either in the Order or the Initiative or something like that. And there were a bunch of, and I hate saying it, but there were a bunch of clones of Peter Parker.
You said the dirtiest word.
I did.
You
I
said
know.
clones?
I know,
With
yeah.
Spider-Man.
And it was, I'll see if I can find the issue, but it was resolved very neatly, the whole identity reveal. And it was very clean and simple and subtle about the whole, hey, I'm Peter Parker. Because they had a bunch of iron spiders bouncing around. And yeah, and they were all...
Honestly, that was my other way. Like before they did the whole Mephisto thing, I thought, how could they get out of this? Is to have a bunch of people step up and say, "I'm Spider-Man."
Yeah,
no, I'm Spider-Man.
It was
And you
very much
obscure
a
it so
Spartacus.
much that-
You
it was
could do-
very much a Spartacus thing.
You
Yes.
could do the Spartacus thing, but hey guys, here's a little newsflash. Do you know how many times Peter Parker has been revealed?
I really do hope that Doctor Strange shows up and was like, and as Leon was saying, all right, listen, this has been cute and all, but here's the truth. I'm going to set shit right. And then he set shit right. You know?
Yeah.
I really want that to happen.
Me too.
Because right now, Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme. He has, and they haven't announced the new Sorcerer Supreme, and I think that would, oh God, that would be just serendipitous if he just came back and said, okay, listen, I'm in charge, and here's how things are.
I want to do a Jim Shooter solution. Thanos shows up. He's counting on Peter being married to Mary Jane, and he's not anymore. And he finds Mephisto and pounds his face into fucking jelly until he makes everything right.
All of the Amazing Spider-Man Secret Invasion stuff is actually not about Spider-Man at all, but about this bullshit character Jackpot.
Yeah.
Who is apparently
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Yep.
Because that makes sense. Who wouldn't love that?
Yeah.
Except anybody who has enough sense to not poop in his
Jason,
pants
are you
on
going
a
to
regular
put?
basis.
You should probably put Beau to bed at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with Beau, and
Beau.
I have to mop up my own nosebleed that Marvel's stupidity has induced. Co-host.
Yo!
Co-host.
Hello!
Who is Jackpot?
Beats the fuck out of me, pal.
All right,
I
sit.
watch porn. I don't read comic books.
Sit down. All right, never mind. Hey, co-host.
Harry Potter fan.
Leon, grab co-host. Never mind. I'm sorry I asked. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a
Mary
good comic
Jane
though.
is Harry Potter. Wait.
And we'll be making that argument next week. No. We have one last question from Green Scar, who asks, "Hey guys, I'm on a search to get some really scary, disturbing movies, the kind that make you want to turn the movie off for a party with a bunch of girls. So what's your opinion on the scariest and most disturbing movie ever to help a brother out?" And we'll be answering this on the next Leon.
There you go.
On the 20, we'll be releasing it. Let's see, when is that Friday?
We'll be
that
recording
Wednesday.
The
we'll be recording
29th.
on
The
20
29th will be when it
29th?
comes out.
Oh, right before Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 29th.
Right for
Scary.
Halloween.
Oh! Werewolf of London.
Werewolf.
Ooh, scary.
Yes, I'm very frightened to be in the same room with all you drunken people who aren't responsible for your own actions. Anyway, we will be doing a horror episode. We'll be focusing on horror movies, horror comic books, horror television shows, Beau's dating history, anything that's scary, really.
Which pretty much consists of dead hookers.
Send us
the-
your scary movie, scary oriented question.
Exactly. The new Leon question that comes up for Leon questions for 15 in the Leon Lounge. Please constrain yourself to stuff that's spooky and scary.
And now, a scene from next week's Leon. So, Leon, what's your scariest horror film?
Hey, not scariest, but most disturbing, Dead Ringers.
Wow. Tune in next time to see why Dead Ringers is
shit.
scary.
Hey,
Hey,
time
Leon.
we'll let
Hey,
Leon
hey,
explain
Leon,
this.
have you ever seen Ishtar? Now that's scary.
Did you guys not unplug the co-host while I was in the bathroom? What's
Yeah,
going on?
sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Co-host
you make it
is
sound like
floating
it's something we
around
did on accident.
Where's that electromagnetic pulse that we had stored in the bathroom?
Just in case of emergency. Well, guys, that was Leog number 14. We're one away from the big 15.
The cake is a lie.
We are having our quinceañera next
XV.
episode.
The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. What is that?
What?
He meant alive because he's
The
talking
cake.
about bakery from hell.
The cake is a lie.
Oh, never mind.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's
Nora.
okay. Somebody will, and they
Yeah,
will email us.
It's
Aw.
true. There's some.
Hey, I get it.
Thanks so much, you guys, as always, for sending us your questions, for joining the League Lounge. We are...
Tell your friends, for God's sakes. Tell your friends.
We're about 40 people away from being the biggest group on Spill right now.
Get
too.
out of here.
And
Really?
by the way, we
we're
all
way
have
up there.
Amazon wish list. I'm just saying.
It's funny because I know we had like about 12 questions left that we could have gone to.
We do,
It's just
but-
gotten so late.
Well, we just have too much fun answering the ones that we get,
Yes, it's true.
and finding our.
So it is our job to
We-
get back on the Leog Lounge and answer those questions.
We segue more than the police in Beverly Hills.
And can I just say thank you so much to all of the people that are listening to us and sending us individually questions and so forth. Yeah, God bless you. Cthulhu bless you. Cthulhu Fathagan and all that.
Oh yeah, and Metal Virgin. I'm sorry I haven't answered back lately, but I love you, darling. I love you.
Oh,
so
and
much.
come to the Spill Party next Saturday.
Yeah, special shout out to anybody coming to the Spill Party.
Except for Metal Virgin, because she's afraid we're gonna make fun of her.
Yeah, relay.
Really?